Welcome back to Better Dig 2, the husband and wife horror podcast bringing our couch conversations to the masses. I'm your host, Maddie.
And I'm your host, Shrade.
Grab a seat on the couch and let's talk horror.
Maddie, my love.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we're doing a single movie review. We have the pleasure of doing Hokum.
Yes.
And with that, do you know what the word Hokum means?
I think we looked it up when we did our pilot episode, when we were just looking through all the movies we were excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Irish term for like coswallop, and I mean, just is that right or no?
Yeah. Utter nonsense, trash, or garbage.
Nice.
So buffoonery, tomfoolery, shenanigans.
Bullshit. Basically.
Yeah. No, and that is a very misleading title, I think. I think it's fun to say. I don't know if it was for Americanized audiences, where it was more like some kind of, Celtic Irish tradition or anything like that. But when you go for it, it's just like, oh, it's just bullshit.
Well, it sounds like a spooky word.
100%. That's why I was so surprised when I looked it up this week. I was like, well, that is odd.
Yeah.
But then, not to get into it now, but there are some facets of the movie where that does fit in.
It was a perfect title for the movie.
It really was.
It was. But yeah, until you went and looked it up, it definitely made you think it's a very spooky vibe word.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, yes, Hokum, written and directed by Damian McCarthy, starring Adam Scott as Bauman, Peter Coonan as Mal, and David Wilmot as Jerry.
Quick summary. A horror writer visits an Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes, unaware the property is said to be haunted by a witch.
Mm-hmm.
As always, this is a spoiler-filled review. If you do not wish for the movie to be spoiled or wish to come back after you've watched the movie yourself, please feel free to do so. But if not, turn back now. And I think we start every time with the horror movie rubric.
Yep, let's dig in. So let's starting off, as always, acting quality. I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4, but I am curious what gave you a 5, because one of my complaints was kind of character depth.
Okay, so I gave it a 5 because all too often in horror movies, I mean, first off, we get bad acting in horror movies all the time.
Yeah.
I really thought that all of the characters felt genuine. They felt like real people. None of it was way over the top. Yet we had a good variety of characters. I just thought it was really good acting, especially for a horror movie. Now, yeah, if you threw this in a drama or a romance or something, it probably wouldn't. But, we usually grade this, basing off of just horror movies.
Yeah, other horror movies.
And so for a horror movie, I thought it was really great acting.
Okay. I mean, giving it a 4, it definitely was not bad.
No.
We've had some horrific acting.
Mm-hmm.
But for the cast, what they were able to do, it was similarly limited, not a huge cast. There was one mainstream actor, and I don't say that is a negative, but Adam Scott's character was an asshole, and he did a fantastic job with hating that character very early on. Next up, visual effects and cinematography.
I gave it a 4.5.
I also gave it a 4.5. It was a really well shot movie. I think it used effective space. I think whoever was behind the camera did an excellent job making everything feel so icky, disturbing, creepy.
Well, and it was a great setting. It gives you that creepy old inn in another country, just old. And but I got the feeling a lot of the movie, it almost felt like a Wes Anderson horror. Some of the shots felt like a Wes Anderson movie.
Okay.
But it felt really clean in a lot of spots. We get so much of the grindhouse dirty horror, where in this one we got a flip of that. We got a lot of, I don't know, it just felt really clean shots to me.
Okay.
So with the Wes Anderson feel, I was like, this is horror Grand Budapest Hotel. So that's just how it came off to me. And we didn't get a whole lot of, special effects in this movie. And nothing super crazy. But we had a lot of different angles, different, shots at different levels. And yeah, so I thought, but it just overall, it felt really clean, even in the scenes where it was supposed to feel gross. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still neat and tidy, even in the more gory scenes, which were very limited. Again, this is not like a super amazing gore fest, body horror, which is, my bread and butter, but it was still a great watch. Next up, we have our audio. I gave it a big 5. I gave it a perfect 5.
Nice.
I think it was really, really well done. I think the different atmospheres that it gives you, from the outdoor ambiance to inside, and then the different levels of the hotel, I just thought it was really cool because there were small musical cues for each location, and I think it played really well to adding tension later on in the movie.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.5. I agree with everything you said. There was a lot of times when the audio was just so well matched to the scenes, whether it was just the little sound effects or it was the background music. I felt like it was done well. They did, there was a couple of audio jump scares, which I don't know, I felt maybe weren't necessarily needed. So
I don't know. I think it's one of those movies that does prey upon an audio jump scare only for the benefit of pacing and kind of doing a little bit more excitement, and not necessarily a very, scary scene.
Yeah.
A lot of those audio cues were in more like lulls into the story.
Yeah.
Which pacing was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well paced. So it goes from beat to beat to beat without really missing a step. And in those little bitty lulls between each one, you would, get an audio cue or a visual effect or, more story. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. So next category we have is story. I gave that a full 5. I thought the story was great. It had depth. It kept you guessing of what direction were they going. It did a really good job, and I'm going to talk more in depth about this later, but the background to some of the characters, they gave you so much with so little. Like, they did so much storytelling sometimes without saying a word.
Okay.
And so it felt like you got so much more story. I don't know. It was just done really well.
So atmospheric storytelling, I definitely think, is one of the...
Not even, like, some of the points I make later, it's not even the atmosphere. It's just the acting, which I guess would go in. It's, I thought the acting quality was done really well too. But they had a bigger story. So one of our biggest gripes last episode about Mortuary Assistant was they give us too much background, and they spelled it all out for us.
Yes.
Which was completely unnecessary. Whereas in Hokum, we got a lot of background with very little, but it gave you everything you needed. So you got so much background in a perfect way to me.
Okay.
And I'll like I said, I'll explain.
Yeah,
I'll elaborate on that later.
Yeah, I can't wait to really get into that one.
Yeah.
But I gave it a 4.5. I think it was really well done. Some of the story beats were not my particular cup of tea, but that doesn't necessarily take away from the story itself. So I think 4.5, it's almost perfect. So, kudos to you for making such a great movie. Let's see. Scariness.
So, you go. Okay, scariness. I gave it a 4. It wasn't the scariest movie for me. It definitely was extremely creepy. And I really did like how they did the scares, because a lot of it, I guess, was technically jump scares, but they were intentional. They weren't just to get a cheap scare. And it affected the main character. So it's like all the jump scares were affecting the main character. They weren't just a window flapping open, just a loud bang to scare the audience. It was intentional, meaningful, made sense with the story type of jump scare.
I agree. I also gave it a 4 on scariness. Again, it's not the gore fest, slaughter monstrosity that I'm after, but it was a really fun. It had so many unique features to it that were vastly different than my expectations going in. So,
I love a good folklore story with the scariness that goes along with it, because it feels so old. And when a story or an entity or something is just rooted and so aged and old,
but brought to like the modern era,
it just makes it feel that much more scary because it's lasted over time.
Yeah, it really did. And like the way that they were able to blend in, this old hag living inside the hotel turns into this whodunit action thriller, and you're like, what is going on?
Well, and I think some of it, it wasn't the most suspenseful, but it kept you guessing, and so that was like the suspense of what actually is going on here. Or, oh, well, this is the main culprit. Oh, well, actually, no, it's not. It's so it, like I said, it kept you guessing. You couldn't just figure it out. It gave really good, human sources of scary, supernatural sources of scary.
Yes.
So it did both. So I liked that.
I think that's pretty solid. Enjoyability. Perfect 5.
I also gave it a 5.
What an insane movie. Coming off of Mortuary Assistant and Good Boy last week, we were kind of like, Good Boy, fun movie. Mortuary Assistant, just go play the game. But this was such a huge surprise for how much I enjoyed it. And especially at the very beginning, where I was like, this is not for me.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as Adam Scott's character Ohm started to talk, I was like, oh, this is rough. He is such a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, he played a piece of shit so well.
Yeah.
And I had, you mentioned this also, I had very different expectations going into this movie. I had only watched the teaser trailer. I didn't even really watch the full trailer because I was really excited for this one and I didn't want anything spoiled. I really like, I've already said this, I really like folklore movies. I don't really think I've watched one that I was disappointed with, because they're just inherently spooky.
Leprechaun 3 Back to the Hood.
I've not watched that one, so. But we'll find lesser known horror movies that are based in Ireland, Scotland, somewhere.
Hole in the Ground.
Hole in the Ground. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head, but we've watched a few that were just, scrolling through Shudder or something, found it. And for me, I don't care how unknown it is. I usually like it. It's just, it's another one of my brands, I guess, that I like, go
Paranormal, folklore.
add it in with a haunted house,
Fair.
So, but what I thought the movie was and how that teaser marketed it
Yes.
was so different, but it wasn't disappointing at all.
Yeah, I thought it was like a poltergeist ghost story.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like they had centered that whole teaser around that one character. So you thought that was going to be like the haunting entity or something. And it was such a tiny part of the movie, but it was so effective for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that I really liked that because so often we get a whole movie spoiled within a trailer, or they put all of the good or all of the scares, the good scares, just in the trailer to try to get people to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And they used like one of the littlest things it was definitely spooky.
Okay.
Used that almost as like what you thought was going to be the main, because that was almost one of the key arts for the movie and everything. And it was such a small part.
Yeah.
So
kudos to them for making a trailer that complements the movie, keeps you guessing.
Yep.
But still, when you get to go see the movie itself, you've got so many scares. The whole plot is basically, undone.
Yeah.
So if you get the opportunity,
it didn't ruin the movie at all.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a spoiler for like the main bad guy or whatever. So yeah.
Agreed.
But it still did a really good job of getting us to the theater to go see it.
It did. We were in as soon as Ben Wyatt, Adam Scott's character.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, we love that guy.
Well, it was funny because as soon as I didn't know how his character was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tend to lean towards Adam Scott, like lovable, just great guy, or Ben Wyatt, Parks and Rec, Adam Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And then, very soon after the movie, like you said, as soon as he started talking, because we get that whole opening scene and it's just him typing. So you don't even hear him. Like he's not talking. You don't get any of his really like personality. But until it's his first kind of interactions, I'm like, oh, this is more Step Brothers Adam Scott than Parks and Rec Adam Scott. This is the asshole. And he plays both sides of that fence so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can make you absolutely love him and absolutely hate him.
Agreed. In fact, that leads perfectly into the next and final category, bonus.
Yep.
Him being a complete asshole was one of my bonus points.
Mine too.
Yeah. So good on you, Adam Scott, for being a lovable asshole. My next point, so I gave it a total of 4.
Okay.
My next point is the whodunit red herring plot.
Mm-hmm.
It does not work like in most movies when they're like, oh, it's a horror movie. Oh, wait, it's a regular person. Oh, wait, now this. It's like, okay, that was completely unnecessary. You're kind of burying the plot. This only enhanced it, where you're like, oh, shit, this beloved character that we've seen early on turns out to be like an even bigger bastard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. Now I can root for Ohm in doing whatever he needs to get done.
Yeah.
That was a big pivotal thing for me. The creepy old hotel, it worked.
Yep.
It fucking worked. I think that wherever this was shot, whenever they decided to find this location, knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
The ambiance, again, the cinematography lends to this so much. We know it's all about the guy behind the camera who can make these little intricate shots and pans, make this movie feel as open and expansive and as claustrophobic as it was.
Yeah.
And then the fucking hag, dude. What an insane, again, like folklore character we don't really get to see. I'm a huge fantasy nerd, love D&D. Give me all of those things, and a hag just happens to be one of my favorites.
Okay. I need a definition or an explanation. What is the difference between a witch and a hag? Because the whole movie, they called it a witch. It's credited as a witch.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes it a hag?
So for me, and again, it could just be a complete emotional feeling, but for me, like a witch is more a spellcaster, where a hag use it and kind of uses her own ability as a witch, or innate. Where a hag is like, I'm gonna eat children and boil a cauldron and do this, and this.
That's my
like
in my head. I'm like, when I think hag, I'm like Hansel and Gretel, like preys on children.
Yeah.
Okay. And so even though they called it a witch, the whole story behind it, was it preyed on children. So okay.
Yeah, I'm giving it a hag point.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you? Those are my 4 points.
So I did 3. I had 3 bonus points. So my first one, same as you. Adam Scott did such a good job of making you hate his character, but then still end up rooting for him. So the fact that like you knew he was a dick, you get his tragic backstory, and then you're like, oh man, like, okay, like you get it, he's a dick, and then you're like, okay, he's been through some shit, and then he does some really dick stuff, and you're like, okay, I really don't care that you had a tragic childhood. You're still fucking dick.
Yeah,
like,
dude, justice for Albie.
And then flips it again, and you're like, damn it, I want you to live, So that is just a testament to his acting and the character and the story, that you can sit there and flip back and forth, but in the end still end up rooting for him.
Yep.
And because he did have that like character growth. So that was my first one. The second one was for the jackass character that was marketed as the like what we thought was going to be the main antagonist. It was a creepy as shit design just from the trailer.
Big buck teeth. We thought it was a rabbit.
Yeah.
Like big bug eyes.
Well,
teeth,
yeah, it
and
felt
then
like Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
But the bulging bug eyes, the white face, black hair contrast, it was creepy, kind of sunken face. Very spooky.
What I really appreciate about that is that our sweet Albie the bellhop
Yeah.
is also Jack the Jackass.
Yeah,
which
same
is
actor
awesome.
played both. So, but I gave that a point for that just because it was marketed as the main antagonist. Then it ended up having such a small role in the movie, but it was, I mean, I guess it wasn't a small role, but it very small screen time.
Yeah, small screen time, big impact.
Big impact, exactly. So the fact that, short screen time, big impact, marketed as the main antagonist, it wasn't at all, but it was such an effective, spooky element.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I feel like that's like a lot of value in such a little thing, I guess. So it gets a bonus point for that. And then my third bonus point is just for the witch also, but more of the fact that it was real spooky.
It was very spooky.
What I thought we were only going to get kind of glimpses, and then we end up getting full look at it, and you're like, oh hell no. She was definitely spooky from the very beginning, when all we got was kind of a silhouette, like a shadowed face. And then we got a little bit more of her later, just through the curtains, not full face, or through the broken glass.
Yeah.
And then at the very, towards the very end, we get a full, I mean, it was like a jump scare because it was just all of a sudden her full face lit up and it's just all up in her face.
100%.
And she was definitely creepy. So,
drum roll, please. 31 on an A for me.
Same here.
No shit.
Yep, 31A. Okay. So,
well done.
It definitely deserved that A, I think.
I think so too. I think it's one of the seldom underhyped A's.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are kind of, I haven't looked at the box office. I'm really hoping that people have gone out and seen it.
Yeah.
But if not, and if you somehow decided to continue to watch us rant about how awesome this movie is without watching it, go watch it. It is a must watch for this year.
Yeah. Especially because we've had movies so far this year that have been marketed so much more that, especially than this, we didn't get a lot of. I don't know that this movie I don't remember seeing a trailer for it before any other horror movie we've watched this year. Like, I mean, I can't remember seeing it in the theater, like a trailer in the theater for it. I don't know.
I don't
Whereas every single horror movie we've seen this year, Passenger, has been in a trailer.
Yeah,
like,
I want that to be good.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is like half the time it's the ones that are marketed so heavily end up being shit. Whereas this one wasn't as heavily marketed, but it definitely spoke for itself.
Yeah.
It was great.
I am glad that it gets a theatrical release instead of just straight to streaming services. So I hope that they crush the box office.
Yeah. Well, so the director, Damian McCarthy, I went and looked it up because I'm not as great with like remembering directors, their slate of everything they've done. So I kind of recognized the name, but I wasn't sure. So he's done some shorts, but his, currently main three directorial, so we've got Hokum. He did Oddity last year or in 24, one of those. And then a few years ago did Caveat. And I cannot remember.
I think we watched Caveat.
I think so too. But I think it was before we started doing our rubric because it sounded really familiar. So we may have to go give it a rewatch. Again, he's an Irish director. So Caveat was Irish folklore. I think Oddity was also looking at the cast list for all these movies. Looks like he, enlists a lot of Irish actors. So this one, he got a little bit of more of a known name with Adam Scott. And I'm hoping that helps. Now, if you look at the average rating for each of those movies, they've gone up with every movie. So like Caveat and then higher rating with Oddity and now an even higher rating with Hokum. Good. So I'm really hoping that this helps, keep him going because I've enjoyed his work. So.
Yeah. Damian McCarthy, please continue to make good horror movies.
Yeah.
All right, my love, shall we get into favorite and least favorite scenes?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I don't have many least favorite. I have two.
Yeah, I don't either. And they were least favorite. They were more just gripes, like about something the character did.
Okay.
Not as much about the story or something I actually didn't like in the movie.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. So first one was the stupid fucking scene where he's sitting at the bar and he's getting drunk. And so we got the initial feel that he's an asshole, the way he interacts with people. So we're like, okay, we don't like him.
Yep.
And then he's sitting at the bar drinking and he gives the bartender his tragic backstory. And I will talk about that here in a minute because that was kind of one of my favorite scenes, and then it immediately flipped into my least favorite scene because he's an author.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hotel employees, there's a couple of them, have read his stuff.
Yes.
He's a dick about it. Like, one guy was like, if my son is a huge fan. If I brought a couple of his books, would you mind signing them? And he just, nope.
Yeah.
Just dick about it. And I get it, but he's not like an A-list celebrity that's just inundated with, swarms of fans, and they didn't immediately know him. It was, they said his name and then they'd be like, wait, are you so, so he's not a huge famous author, but he's at least recognizable, but he's just a dick. And then one of the other workers comes up and he's like, I'm an aspiring author. Would you ever be inclined to like reading my manuscript? And he's sitting there and he's talking to him and he's being like subtly, I don't know. And he's being a dick, but the other guy is not like picking up on it because this is his one of
this is my chance. This is my big break. Like maybe this could be the guy that gets me out of being a bellhop in the hotel in Ireland.
Yeah. So he's sitting there and he's giving them this like life lesson, but he grabs this spoon and he sticks it in this jack-o'-lantern's mouth over the candle, and he's sitting there and he's being kind of sarcastic to him. And then he flips the spoon and it just looks like he's just fucking around with stuff. Just, giving the guy half his attention while also blowing him off. And then he like grabs a spoon and burns him with it.
Yeah, Albie deserved so much better.
And he straight up said like it was just so like planned out. It was such a dick move. And then he like burns him with the spoon. And the guy, understandably jumps back and kind of screams, and he was like, you gotta have thicker skin than that to be an author. You're not cut out for it.
Which is wild because his skin's not that thick.
No.
Which we find out in the scene very quickly after how little he is as a man.
Yeah, it was just the whole build up to it. Like, it was so planned out what he was doing. It was such, and so you, like I said, you got the tragic backstory and you start to feel bad for him. Okay, and then he does that.
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, no, fuck you. Hope you die.
Oh my gosh.
And then it ends up going back to the end where I'm like, dude, damn it. I got to root for you. So that was one of my least favorite scenes. I felt so bad for Albie. But then in the end, when he kind of got his little jab back, it was great. So other least favorite was Jerry's death.
Yeah, that was really sad.
He did not deserve that. Poor guy. I mean, he just had it not been for him, main character he wouldn't have survived. And as soon as he had like fulfilled his purpose or saved or at least given him the means to save himself, dead. And he had survived so many things. And he just kept going. And then you thought he was good. And then you see it coming. Sees it coming. And then boom. And he's dead. And it was just,
it was super sad.
I hated it. He didn't deserve that at all. He definitely deserved to live. Okay. But so those are really my only two, least favorite scenes.
Okay. I might ruffle your feathers with one of mine.
Okay.
One of my least favorite scenes, the character interactions kind of early on were, it almost felt like some of the characters were caricatures of like real people.
Yeah.
Albie the bellhop, there wasn't a whole lot of depth. It was just guy in a position that somebody is looking down upon and is trying, happy-go-lucky, trying to get his big break. And we get that. We get the stern groundskeeper or like hotel manager who like kills a goat with a crossbow, which the reason the goats are on top of a car in the first place is fucking hilarious.
Which I thought it was so funny that they like made up a reasoning for goats to be on the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, goats will just get up on a car. Like they just do that shit.
Yeah, dude. But we get Jerry's little
I know.
bit, and he was like, "Magic mushrooms and goats like to
I-
see their reflections."
I know. I
And you're
just
like,
thought
"Oh,
it
that's
was
sick."
so funny that he had this explanation. And I'm like, no, goats are just fucking dicks and they like to jump on shit.
Yeah, dude. A symbol of Satan, also just assholes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So for me, some of my least favorite scenes are character dialogue scenes that kind of come through as disingenuous to like what a real human being would do. But I didn't. It didn't irk me that much.
Yeah. See, I think that was intentional because it lent to the innocent and just simpler type of people you might find at this inn in rural Ireland. You know, they close for the season. They're not open. They're not a big thing.
Mhm.
Just simpler people, down to earth. So it was just the shift of showing the type of people, and it gave a really good contrast between how much of a dick he was compared to these people that are so nice and genuine.
It did not make the American tourist look very good.
No, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He was a complete dick.
Yeah, he really was.
But also that's what made it feel to me like Grand Budapest Hotel, because they're all like, they feel like caricatures,
Mm-hmm.
and so it really just, to me, it kind of felt like and I haven't watched Grand Budapest Hotel. I've seen parts of it, but for the pieces I've seen of it, you know, they're just over the top, but in that same vein, but very, very nice. And, you know, that's kind of an MO for like Wes Anderson, is like all of his characters are like overly nice. So that's what I felt. And so I thought it was funny. It was like a different take on it. It was like
yeah. Again, like I like my horror movies to feel more lived in world. And that for me, that it just, you've made your characters so defined and you've put them in these boxes, and that's fine. Like it worked. It was an effective storytelling method. But for me, I like kind of, okay, that guy is kind of a pushover, but also he's an asshole, which we do kind of get with the like whodunit situation where the bartender goes missing, and we have that whole subplot that turns into the main arc of the story that eventually leads us into the final act, and you're like, oh, okay, now I can understand. It's like the Knives Out thing. Just look at the phone and you know that they're the villain.
Yeah.
If they're rocking an iPhone, they're fine. If they're not rocking an iPhone, that's a bad dude.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I have to disagree with you there, because I feel like for as little screen time as everyone got,
right.
you know, you talked about that they had to be a little, you know, they were just like a little quirky, but it differentiated between all the people really well for as little screen time as they got.
You paint with different colors in each brush. Like you've made your rainbow of people, and each one of them has a role to fill. That's fine. Again, these are my least favorite things. I really had to dig this shit up to try to find something that I had to complain about. But, you know, we talked a little bit on Adam Scott being a complete dickhead, which is another one of my like least favorite. But also, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Like, he played that character so well with those mannerisms that it made me dislike him from, again, the very first time he does dialogue. So, that's all the negativity I've got. I'm ready to get into my favorite stuff.
Okay.
Throwing the ashes. So you go to the tree to put his parents down. He puts his mother's ashes. He's got a beautiful picture of when she was young, and, you know, takes the time to pour her ashes up and around this tree. Then he just opens the dad's and just plops it, basically just throwing it on the ground wherever.
So that is my first on my favorites.
Really? Okay.
And that is one of the, I guess, the biggest scenes where, for my example of They did so much storytelling without saying a word because he was there by himself at that tree. He had this picture of his mom standing at this exact tree from when his mom and dad had honeymooned at this hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the feeling from early on with that, you know, he was really attached to his mother. They're both dead. You don't know why, but he has their urns right next to each other. So you think maybe a car crash at first.
Yeah.
And then they have this gun and they just show it and it's locked in a box. And they have the gun. He opens the box and he sees it. It's like a box of his parents' things.
Well, he cuts the lock off,
Yeah,
which is important.
Yeah. And the gun's in it and he pulls it out. It's like he maybe didn't know what was in the box. And who knows how long he had this other box of things that he was just now getting into. But he pulled the gun out, he looks at it, and then he looks back at the urns and it kind of focuses on the dad one. So you're like, oh, was it a murder-suicide situation? Yeah, you don't know. Or like, did dad kill mom and dad killed himself? You know, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the ashes, specifically that scene, they're at this tree. It's just the picture of the mom that he carries around with him. And you can tell, I mean, it's been folded how many times. It's, you know, he's kept it. He just gingerly and with so much care spreads mom's ashes around this tree. I mean, like spreads it completely around within the roots, you know, and takes his time, really, I mean, really cares about it. Versus the way he did the dad. He got the urn, he kind of looked at it, he popped the top, and then just dumped it. Just didn't care. Shook it out, you know, was done. And then he placed both of them, you know, within the base of the tree. But that was so much storytelling without saying a word. You got the backstory. You understood just from his actions there. He cared for his mom, did not care for his dad.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's so effective. You know, you look at Mortuary Assistant, our biggest bitch was the long, drawn out, unnecessary backstory.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas that right there was like a minute and there was no dialogue, but yet we got plenty just from his acting. You got plenty of story just from the way he played that scene.
Yeah, and that scene leads to a more detailed explanation later on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not long after that was another one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, we'll hop in.
So he goes back to the bar like that evening at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to the bartender, Fiona, and talked about his parents, or I think she asked, like, what were you doing here and what brought you out here? And he's like, I came to spread my parents' ashes. You know, they honeymooned here. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your parents. You know, what happened? And he just bluntly was like, well, my mom was shot and killed. Came home one evening, shot and killed. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, it was the dad. And then she asked, well, did they catch the guy or whoever did it? And he said, nope. He said it was some kid. He was too young to punish, so he got away with it. He's like, they should have hanged him.
Yeah.
And he said it so bluntly and like so nonchalantly, but I felt my face, like my emotions, because you're like, oh, okay, she got shot and killed. And then you think was it the dad? And then you're like, oh my God, it was just like some kid. But then when he said he should have been hanged, I don't know, it was something about the way he said it. My jaw dropped because I immediately knew it was him.
Yeah.
Like, he shot and killed his mom. But obviously, couldn't have been malicious because he cared, you know that he cares for his mom.
Yeah. It did make you question in that moment if all of this caring was from guilt.
Yeah.
And so.
But I saw it as it was an accident.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's going to harbor guilt.
True.
So, but yeah, I felt like my face pale, my jaw dropped because I was like, oh my God, it was him. Like he killed his own mom. And then whether we were going to get more explanation for it later or not, it still was enough. And it was more backstory storytelling without ever having to actually say it. So like, I just like it when you're not being spoon fed. Like we can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, you trust your audience to do their part as an audience.
We're not babies. Some people are. Some people don't understand it. But I like being given the pieces and like, here, you can fill in the blanks.
Well, I don't have the attention span because I've been on TikTok for the last decade.
Yeah, that's their own fault.
Yeah,
but
shut up, nerd.
I like being given, enough where I can easily fill in because that gives you so much more story in the amount of time of the movie.
Yeah.
Where you can draw your own conclusions, easily fill in those blanks.
Yeah. So. Speaking of storytelling, one of my favorite scenes was the old man owner of the hotel over what looks like a model, and I'm a sucker for like paranorman stop motion animation, stuff like that. So when you have cool like not even stop motion, but there are these little caricatures of these like ceramic
they're
figurines.
like carvings.
Yeah. So as he's like telling the story of like there's a witch trapped here and she uses chains to pull her people along, and if you hear the rattling, and then they're gonna take your nuts. And then Adam Scott's character is like, "Are these your grandkids?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Don't fucking talk to kids."
Yeah. Well, he was telling the kids, he's like, "Don't talk to strangers. Go find your parents."
Yeah.
No, but they did feel kind of like Tim Burton-esque because they were the big eyes, gaunt faces. The little, how much detail was in those tiny little carvings.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Which, they could have been larger carvings using forced perspective, which is, again, if that's the case, great director, great camera work, great everything. But it used the, like, wizened old man info dump, like, trope to a very effective degree where I wasn't just like, oh, yay, here's more crap.
He was definitely creepy, and you get the feeling he's just a creepy, like, guest of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then it shows he's the owner.
Yeah,
and he's like
the guy that traps the witch in the hotel.
Yeah.
You're like, that is such a cool concept.
Yeah. He was actually, it was a cautionary tale. Like he was actually trying to like warn these kids away. He was the town crier, I guess.
Yeah, he was so worried about it, he left his hotel in its completion to run as is. They just locked the witch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like maybe a little more altruistic than what maybe a prolific witch capturing hunter would be able to do,
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep my fucking cool hotel rolling. No big deal.
Well, it was such I don't know if that one would be considered a red herring, but the whole owner having trapped the witch, how long it had been there. Was he the one that did it?
Yeah.
Because I guess, did they say the parents actually stayed in the honeymoon suite?
Yeah, the parents did stay in the honeymoon suite. So he captured the witch after they had left. And at that point, he was like, okay, we captured a witch in there, locked her away in our own private elevator.
Yeah.
We did a remodel and we made sure that everything which you find out later on, there is like a sub basement to the hotel itself.
But they did the remodel to block it in.
Yeah. So it's like, holy shit.
Made like a witch trapped her in there. And, you find out later that you see the family photo and he just has like his grandkids, his daughter, and then the son-in-law that he hates.
Yeah.
And, rightfully
so.
He's a bitch. But the fact that, he had trapped we don't know when he trapped the witch. Was it before he had grandkids? Was it after he had grandkids?
Yeah.
Because the tale is of this witch is targeting children.
Yeah, I would like the story even if it's just a short film of how
Yeah,
he did
was it like like his daughter like announced she was pregnant and he was like, fuck. Like, I know we got a witch in these woods. Like,
Yeah.
like he goes on and then he's wheelchair bound. So it's like, did he get hurt or is this just an old age thing?
Yeah.
And so it's like, damn, Gramps is a G. Like he loves his family so much that he trapped this witch. What are you doing, Bailey? Are you wanting to be part of this?
Sister, go lay down. We'll go night soon. Here, go lay down.
Come on, Bailey.
Go, baby.
She's like, it's late.
Yes, it's too late for our
Oh,
sweet
no,
old
she's
lady.
side-eyeing us.
Oh, poor baby. Okay.
So, but yeah, just him being such, I mean, again, the storytelling without saying it. You can pull all those out. The fact that you see the one family picture and he's a grumpy old man, but in this one family picture, he's got his grandkids around him and he's happy and smiling.
Yeah.
And you're like, the lengths he went to keep his family safe. I don't know, it could have been all the local children too, but that like in his heart, he's like, I got to keep my grandkids safe. So I'm going to catch this witch. I'm going to shut down this, wing of my hotel that was probably a big draw.
Yeah.
And to keep her trapped there and do this remodel. Who knows how much they spent on that.
Yeah, no shit. That's why he kept it open, was just to offset the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the twist that happens, so are you going to touch on what Ohm's character does and then comes back to the hotel? Because we need to lay that groundwork, if not.
No, you can go ahead.
So Ohm's character, after he burns our sweet bellhop, goes back up to his room, pissed drunk, goes into his room, fades to black. The bartender sees that he has left his beloved picture of his mom and his audio recorder.
Mm-hmm.
So she convinces the bellhop to open the door and finds Ohm hanging from the ceiling with a bedsheet.
So literally, he had just said they should have hanged him.
Yeah.
And then he's drunk and he goes and does it.
He goes and hangs himself. Which I will be talking about a Chekhov's Gone moment.
Oh, there was a
later
lot,
on. There were
honestly.
a lot, but that's in more of a favorite effects thing.
Yeah.
So for this portion of it, seeing her save him, he wakes up in the hospital like 2 weeks later, comes back to the hotel, finds out that she's gone missing for like 2 weeks, like the night after.
I think it's almost been like a month.
I think it was 2 weeks.
Was it?
Yeah, they said she'd been missing for 2 weeks. And so what happens is he starts asking around. He feels guilty, like, oh shit, maybe I've drove this girl into insanity, or like maybe she was kidnapped. Maybe crazy Jerry getting high on mushrooms did something.
Well, that's what everyone thought, that it was Jerry. And then they came to find out that because he'd been living in the woods, they just thought he was the crazy guy living in his van in the woods,
hanging out with goats.
Yeah, and then they find out that he, like 10 years ago, they find out who he is, and that like 10 years ago he like skipped town from wherever he was from after his wife died. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, okay, maybe he is crazy Jerry.
Yeah, crazy Jerry. So we go down this rabbit hole of if this, then that. Mm-hmm. If this character, then that character. And then Ohm is trying to follow the breadcrumbs, finds Jerry. Then Jerry's like, I think she's up there because she came to me in a dream while I was high as fuck on mushrooms. Yeah. And she's up in the honeymoon suite.
Yeah. Well, he broke into the hotel. And he was like, I saw her ghost. And she was telling me she was at the honeymoon suite. Yeah.
Which, by the way, him doing the...
Yeah.
because there is a bell system that is hooked up to that room. And it was ringing when he was broken into and he saw her ghost. Mm-hmm. And so we have like okay, this is what's happening. Then we get the taste of its folklore. So all of this primer to then find out that we now have a missing persons case inside this hotel. Mm-hmm. What is it? Like the hotel manager, maybe, or the desk guy that winds up like is
The
the
brother
son-in-law.
or the son-in-law.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
shitty
I think
son-in-law.
he's like the manager.
Yeah, so he and the bartender were having an affair.
Mm-hmm.
She's pregnant with his child. He then takes her up to the suite after he drugs her and basically leaves her to die.
Yeah.
Like a fucking coward.
Yeah.
So
doesn't even just kill her up there and leave her.
Yeah,
Like literally
just
leaves her
Yeah,
to
left
die.
her. Yeah, put her into the dumbwaiter, sent her all the way down, and then just because
And
it couldn't come back
Yeah,
up.
there's no button down there, so just send her to the basement to die.
So we get that whole story, and that's kind of our surprise twist. It's like, okay, there's a whodunit, a pregnancy thing, a murder, and then the witch is down there, and it
Ghost
just
story. You've got a ghost, you've got a witch, you've got the human. A human has actually killed the girl. I mean, yeah, all the things.
Yeah. So you get that portion of the folklore, and so throughout we get again so many great Chekhov's guns in this. So for me, the twist was phenomenal. How you blend all of those things together, like in a couple of scenes, is so effective, and I think is a give the man his roses.
Yeah.
Our director knew what the fuck he was doing. He crushed it.
Yeah. Well, and like the main suspect is Jerry.
Yeah, poor crazy Jerry.
Goes out to the woods, finds Jerry, and he's like, "Hey, did you? He's
We
like,
should go to the police."
well, he was
Straight
like,
up, dog.
this is her book. Like, it's not looking good for you. And he was like, we were friends.
She gave it to me that night.
And he was like, hey, the people, the cops know who you are, and your wife died. You skipped town. You've been missing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he tells him that he was like, his wife was really sick. And
It was more like a mercy killing.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so it's easy then to rule out Jerry, and you just get he's just a good guy. He's a little weird, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And so then him and and he wants to figure out like what happened to Fiona, and he's the one that is the most adamant about finding her, figuring out. But he knows, he's like, I know she's dead. I saw her ghost, but she needs us to figure out what happened to her. So
Okay. What's your next one?
So after he gets, him and the son-in-law, hotel manager, who actually, killed Fiona, they go up, unlock, go up to the honeymoon suite, and then the manager traps him up there.
Yes.
Locks him in, traps him up there. So then it gives like 1408, the movie 1408.
Yes.
Gives those vibes, like you're locked in this creepy ass old hotel room that's like haunted or whatever. So loved that. You just get all these different types of, themes, I guess. But he's been up there for a while. Little things are happening. We see stuff that he doesn't see. But then we actually see the witch. It's confirmed. There is 100% a witch locked in here.
And her character design is fucking sick. And
Yeah.
her lore is fucking sick. And her
creepy.
everything is fucking sick as hell,
So
dude.
she's trapped in this basement because the dumbwaiter only goes, you can only send it down or bring it back up from the room. You can't, there's not a button at the basement. But now he's, fucked with the elevator.
Yeah.
And
So-
she gets up and into the room.
yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's like the dumbwaiter itself not being in the shaft is what opens her entryway.
Yeah.
So like it sends back down and he looks down, and the fact that like she's just fully fucking crawling up the side
scaling
of
it. Yeah.
is so sick.
And so then he like runs into the bedroom, and you just see she comes in, and you're just seeing flashes of her
Yeah.
through maybe some broken glass of a window, through a crack in the door. There's this big 4-poster bed with curtains in the main room. It's honeymoon suite. He jumps in the bed, and, he puts a barrier around it that they had previously it came from that book. That was another one of those Chekhov's gun.
Yes, the
that
chalk circle.
And that was one of my favorite parts because he was a big skeptic, you know, throughout the whole movie. And he played the skeptic really well because even the parts where it was hard to deny, it's still that this is too unbelievable. You know, this cannot possibly be true. So he was laughing about, oh, well, to keep a witch away from you, keep some chalk on you, draw a chalk circle around you, and the witch can't get you. It's just one of those, like a salt circle, you know.
Yeah, it falls into the folklore.
Something so little being your protective barrier.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it just seems like it would never work, you know.
Yeah.
And it's such a scary idea that you're relying on a chalk line, you know, or a salt line or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had scoffed at it, you know, just blown that off. He's like, that's so dumb. And maybe when he was down in the basement the first time or somewhere, he saw some chalk and he was going to walk by it. And then it was that second and he grabbed it, you know?
Well, so it's as the story continues and he gets the voice recorder off of, he does find Fiona's dead body in the dumbwaiter and he starts to listen back to it and it's more episodic.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's cuts between and then finally she's like, there's somebody else down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like,
creepy
oh,
as
shit. So...
Yeah. But he's running away and she's stalking him through this honeymoon suite.
Oh my gosh. In such a, like, the scene is lit up so well.
Yeah.
You can see the character design. You're going through this dingy, claustrophobic ass room.
Oh, and the hot tub or the
stagnant
jacuzzi
water.
bath.
Yeah.
It made me think of like, oh, that's her cauldron, you know. But
that's good.
But the fact that he drew the chalk line around that bed, and it was so funny because he had scoffed at it and then it became his savior. And I mean, he sure believed in it because he drew it all the way around that bed and then dove in it.
Yeah.
And it was just that whole, like, there's no atheists in foxholes.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
He scoffed at it and then it became, he believed in it when that witch was staring at him, you know, across the room.
And how cool was it to see her stalk around the circle? Like she was looking for one piece
maybe
that
where it didn't meet or something. Yeah.
Which later on does happen. So you're just like, holy shit. So
but seeing her shadow through the curtains and maybe when you would just see little
her yellow eyes.
Yeah, you would just see little bits of her. And it was like it was cat and mouse because she was just like laughing and just stalking around this bed. And yeah, it was super spooky. Yeah. But the fact that it definitely made him a believer all of a sudden because the chalk freaking worked. And so that was mine. I know you've got a couple more. I've got like one more.
Okay. My next one is not necessarily in one individual scene. Mm-hmm. Again, it is the ramping tension from the time that he gets locked in the room to the end of the film. Mm-hmm. You have got another murder that happens when Jerry dies, like you talked about earlier, and you get the paradigm shift of power where the guy with the crossbow is now locked up there with
his escalation because the first kill he didn't even kill her.
Yeah,
he just left her for dead.
Yeah, he was too much of a coward. So now in desperation we get to see the madness begin to kind of take over as he becomes more and more brutal through all of it. And for me, I was like, holy shit, that's really, really interesting. And then watching Ohm continue to go down this vault of madness where he's like in this room isolated with a dead body. There's a witch.
The fact that he's looking at his probable fate.
Yeah.
Because the son-in-law, the manager, has done exactly to him what he did to Fiona and just left him for dead in a room nobody goes in.
So also at this point, this is very, very crucial to knowing the story is happening. But the hotel is abandoned. Like
it's closed for the season. So nobody is likely gonna be there by the time
he would
dead.
Starve to death.
Yeah, and they had literally all left that day. Like they had closed everything up, secured it. Everyone had left. Yep. So however often someone would come and check on it, might be a couple weeks, but it was likely not going to be before, soon enough to save him.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Another big scene for me that kind of continues this, like, oh shit, we're kind of going off the rails, is when Jack the Jackass pops up and is talking to Ohm as he's basically on like a fever dream. And you see, you get the 100% confirmation that Ohm is the one that shot his mom by accident. He had this gun. He had pulled the lock off of this box. He was watching Jack the Jackass, which is such a cool scene because you see a VHS in the very opening of like, okay, there's a box that has a lock on it. We've got this. There's a VHS with this Jack the Jackass character, and then it comes full circle. You just hear a gunshot, and the mom just falls and holds him, and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So again, like, didn't need the storytelling. Here's more, and just in case, like, we're gonna hammer it home, but it's so tastefully done because you're getting more of an emotional impact.
It was
from
linking
each
in
one.
the creepy character.
Yes. So I thought it was really, really solid.
That like probably he associated that with, killing his mom. That's what he was watching at the time. So that does become like a terrifying, link.
Yeah.
So
what was your last favorite scene?
My last one was the ending. So the way the movie opened was, this desert. There's this like conquistador, and it's the book he's writing at the time. It's the scene of.
Oh, okay.
That's how it opened.
Yeah.
And it talked a little bit about it. So apparently it was like his most popular trilogy. It was like the Conquistador trilogy.
Yeah, he was writing the final
and they
book.
asked him about it, like, are you going to finally write the ending, to the finale of it? And he was working on it. And at one point he was at the bar, he's explaining the ending to Fiona, and it's like brutal and just just tragic. And she straight up was like, why would you write that? That's so sad or something,
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, he
and he doesn't even have an answer for
no,
her.
and then that's when like Albie walks up.
Yeah.
And he's got this like excitement of being an author where you have like the difference right there.
Yeah.
Just
he's
the
like,
like,
oh, I've already made my success and I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And so you get, again, that duality. So again, really, really
and
cool.
so the ending is him finishing the book. And he basically had it finished, but you understand how it's going to end, and it is. It's like tragic and
brutal, sad.
Yeah. And so it flips back to that scene in the desert, these two characters, and it's like playing out this ending, and you see him, it switches, and he stops, and then he starts typing again, and he's switching the ending. And it's just such a good showing how his like outlook on life changed.
Yeah, you truly do get character growth.
Yeah,
through the movie with Ohm's character. So by the end, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, you wind up rooting for him at the end. So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I loved we talked about how there was lots of little like Chekhov's guns and just little kind of almost Easter eggs within the movie. And so it was the same thing with his book. So the goat in the beginning was a big thing, killing the goat. And in his book, they're trying to break this bottle that has this map in it. And it's a conquistador and a kid. And they're just in the desert. All there is sand.
Yep.
And they're like, the only thing hard enough to like break this bottle is a skull.
Yeah.
And so he's going to like bash the bottle over this kid's head to save himself. So that's how the original ending was going to be. Then the flip of it was the conquistador knelt down and he's telling the kid, hit me on the head as hard as you possibly can until this breaks, and then
go live, basically.
Go live. And so he's going to sacrifice himself to save this kid. Well, then the kid can't do it, and he ends up just throwing the bottle. and they're just like, we'll figure it out together. And then it pans out and the bottle is just right over the side. I mean, because he's a little kid, it's just right over the lip of this dune, not very far away. So they're just going to walk and go grab the bottle. And it's sitting right next to a ram's skull that they're going to be, and that's all it left it as. Because like so it was just the goat in the beginning, that whole story. And then he used that as the like the savior, the saving, Easter egg, Chekhov's gun, whatever, at the end. And it was just that hope. And it showed his shift of his outlook on life after everything he had been through.
Yeah. I was a little worried that you were going to jump on my final scene because mine is part of the final scene.
Okay.
But it is not that. Okay. It is when they go down for the final climax. Mm-hmm. He is down below. He has got the keys to get out of the room. Mm-hmm. And Ohm's character can hear her coming down the hallway. The chains are rattling. The eyes light up. There's a lantern that you can watch her pick up with just 2 fingers. Mm-hmm. And even the character design, it's these gaunt, pale, almost too long Uncanny Valley with like these nasty nails.
It was a great witch design.
Oh, and she picks it up and you can just see her smiling at him. And you can hear the dumbwaiter coming down as the oh gosh, what is his name? We've referenced him multiple times. It's the son-in-law. Stu?
No, it's some stupid name actually. Maul.
Right, it's Maul.
Oh, and so the whole thing about the dumbwaiter. So we talked about how he, you could only activate it from upstairs. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened with Fiona. He pushed her in the dumbwaiter, hit the button, sent her down. Well, there was no way for her to get back up. Mm-hmm. So
you had to call it from up top to bring it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, he figured that out. Well, if he has to go down there to try to find a way out, he can't get up. And he's already figured out she tried and couldn't find a way. Yep. But he's trying to do whatever he can. And so along with the creepy little figurines in the model, there was this creepy little like thing on a clock. And it was like a golfer or something.
It was golfing. He would golf. Every hour he would just
it would ding the bell. And so it was just like it would be dead silent, and then it would be like ding, and he would jump every time. Well, then he goes and he pulls the bell so to quit doing that, and then he looks at it and he rigs it and sets it up and he syncs his watch where that thing will spin and activate the dumbwaiter button. Mm-hmm. So he's able to write it down, and then after it was like every half hour or something, maybe hour, it would send it back up. But he's at the mercy of this thing to come back up. And I mean, the desperation and like if it's gonna work or not, that was so scary to me.
It was great,
especially when he's trying to like run away from the witch downstairs, get into the elevator, and then he's waiting, and it should be like any second, and then it's stuck and it's not bringing him back up. Oh,
yeah. So to continue my scene, when he makes his way down, the keys are dangling from these chains from the ceiling. Ohm is like over in the corner, up against the wall. We know that he has got the chalk and he was trying to get it. We fade over. We find that he hadn't completed the chalk circle in
because
time.
It gets there and then it flashes. And it's just her face. Because he's using the lighter that Albie had dropped when he, his encounter with the witch. It's just all of her little things she's taken from people or the hotel or whatever. So he grabbed the lighter and he's using it to see by, and he gets to the chalk and then it's just her face.
Yeah. So she, we don't know what Ohm's fate is. He comes running, the same chains that everything is dangling from, basically. He's got the keys to get out. Well, then you hear the chains rattling and her cackle. And then you see that she has got the chains on him. It fades to both of them close to each other. They're shackled, and the chains are pulling on Maul towards this doorway that we've already gone through once. But you look, and there are just a shit ton of yellow eyes, these like corpses that they're all trying to get pieces of. So it's the hands in the dark that the old man had referenced early on.
Yep.
And back to Chekhov's gun, this like little pipe saw that he has is what opens the lockbox. It then saves his life when that's what was used to cut him down. Then he has it here at the beginning or here at the end where he's using it to cut through the shackles as the other guy is being drug away. And as tension gets closer and closer, he pops out, uses that to cut the key free, and then heads up the dumbwaiter just in the nick of time. And it fades to black. You watch as the witch continues to push through those doors. The hands start reaching out from all. And then we find our way back to the hospital after it's all on fire. He's safe. And then we have Albie come visit him in the hospital and tell him, hey, man, I also needed to apologize to you. I drugged you with some mushrooms that night. And so we're like, holy shit. So it was just all of these different things kind of coincide and lead together. But he's like bruised on his manacles. We know that
it happened.
Well,
and it flashed back to the comment Jerry had said. And he said, it's all real. People just can't see it.
Yeah.
And he's saying that the mushrooms is what
your third eye.
Opens your third eye and allows you to see all these things.
Yeah.
And so he has that second of like, was I hallucinating all this?
And then,
but he has the evidence, the bruises. And so that gives you that, what was Mal seeing or not seeing?
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Fiona. Like, she's just like, something is down here. But obviously the witch didn't take her because she was still in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Like, her corpse was there.
Yeah.
So
it was just really great storytelling. That's it for my scenes.
Okay.
I think it's time to jump into effects.
All right.
I have 4 effects that I want to talk about. You have got 3, so I'll go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off.
Okay.
The storytelling through the figurines, that the trope of the grizzled old man. I just thought it was super effective. Again, I'm not going to continue to rehash on it, but it was very effective in letting us know what's happening in a fun way of storytelling. So well done to you.
Yeah.
What's yours?
So, kind of in order of sequencing here, when he hanged himself, it flipped to this grainy black and white scene where he's in this honeymoon elevator, he's seeing something, so it's like he's in between. It's either he was dead for a little bit or it's just his unconscious state.
Yeah, on death's door.
Because they did say he was, because they made the comment like, has he woken up yet? So he might have been in like a coma for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you get this, he's dreaming or whatever about the hotel and he's in the honeymoon or in the elevator and stuck in it and something's like coming after him. And it was just like really kind of gritty and just a nice little shift and some just real ominous, and I don't know, it was nice and spooky.
Oh yeah.
So
I like that a lot as well. I talked already about the foreshadowing. I thought it was really great. Again, super interesting storytelling. All of the Chekhov's guns. We can continue to just like, oh, this and this and this and this. But just know that this is not a movie where you can just turn your brain off and be spoon-fed.
yeah.
It will still tell you the story, but you just get so much more invested into the world if you just put your phone down, watch the fucking movie. And it is so worth it. It is one of the movies that, for me, I continue to think about after we watched it. And I'm like, I'm ready for a rewatch.
Yeah.
As soon as it drops on whatever streaming platform we can get our dirty little hands on, we're going to get it and we're going to watch it again. And I hope that we'll have a group of friends around when we do, because I love this movie.
Yeah. It was a good mix. You weren't getting spoon-fed, but you didn't have to go read a dissertation afterwards to understand it. Like, sometimes you have to do like with a Jordan Peele, and try to figure out what they meant, or they were like, well, it's open to interpretation,
Yeah.
So
This was-
it was a good mix.
Yep.
Good balance.
Agreed. What's your next one?
So there was one specific scene when he's locked in the room and there's a reflection in the TV and you can see someone standing in the doorway. Like you see the silhouette standing in the doorway. He looks back. There's nobody there. He looks at the TV again. It's there. And then it like moves and points at something and he looks, not see anything. And then he gets closer. And then the TV pops on and it's that fucking the jackass or whatever. And that was a jump scare, but it was an unexpected one.
Yeah.
And then it led into, it was more of a scare for him, not just being a jump scare, like, oh, the TV came on and it was sudden sound or whatever. But the fact that character is linked to such trauma for him was more of the scare. And then it went into this, like a hallucination. I mean, obviously it was of this whole like episode that's, talking about him killing his mom and stuff. So, but just the way it would flip back and forth from the doorway to the reflection and back, I liked that. So,
okay. I had the menacing aura of the hag throughout the story. You get bits and pieces. You see Albie drop his lighter. She, goes, grabs it, blah, blah, blah. In the black and white scene, you get a teaser. In the build up for the character is so well done that it's one of my favorite effects where you do get that payoff and you just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then again, Jack the Jackass was wild character design.
Yeah.
Loved that. So
my last one, you already talked about it, was the corpses or the ghosts or whatever at the very end coming through that doorway, just all going to grab him and bring him in and, hey, you're becoming one of us now. Yeah. And they were super spooky, just completely black, but all you see these glowing yellow eyes. So that was my final one.
Okay. All right. We're going into our next segment, digging deeper into the movie. How did this movie make you feel?
So I was locked in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out where it was going. Was it a whodunit? Was it a ghost story? Was it a witch? Was it a, like a haunting? Or was it some tall tale that this hotel owner fabricated? Like this honeymoon suite was his closet where he put his skeletons. Like, did he have, he hid a body up there a long time ago or something, and then he locked it up and they have this folk tale that there's a witch trapped in there and nobody's allowed to go in there.
Yeah.
And I guess we saw Fiona's body before we ever saw the actual witch or anything. So that kind of lent to that more, because I was like, oh, he's coming into the family. He's the son-in-law. He knows about father-in-law's dark secrets. He's now doing the same thing. Yeah. And that's just where they hide, literally where they hide their bodies. So I just liked, and then the fact that it was a little bit of everything. It was a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's like a buffet movie.
Yeah, but it all worked so well together. And the fact that you have the skeptic and then all of these things are happening to him.
Yeah.
And he's becoming a believer real quick.
100%. Yeah, I had just ramped up excitement through the beginning to end. I was ecstatic how it ended. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yep.
Let's see. What else did it make you feel?
So, like, feelings. So it did a lot with claustrophobia.
Yes, that was one of mine.
Being locked in the room, having no escape. and then even more in the tight dumbwaiter.
Yes.
And then having to go down and not knowing for sure if you're going to be able, the little thing he rigged to try to get himself back up,
Yeah.
whether it's going to work or not. So lots of claustrophobia. And then down in the basement, it's sort of tight quarters, it's narrow hallways, but the darkness gave it even more because it's just by this lantern or sometimes even just by a lighter.
Yeah.
Super, super claustrophobic. And then just lots of dread because, he didn't know. He's already seen, he's literally staring at his fate in the corpse of this girl, and that's going to be him, and he knows she tried to find a way out. She had his recorder and she recorded her, last however long, what she tried to do. She said it was, the son-in-law or the manager and why he did it, gave his motive and everything. And that she went down and searched, couldn't find a way out. And then there's something down here, and then she ended up dying. And that was when there was still people at the hotel.
Yeah.
But she was locked in the basement. So it wasn't like
anybody could get to her here or anything like that.
Yeah, like where he was up in the room, but he was still locked in the room. He couldn't even get to the elevator where he could maybe ride up and down the elevator and or bang on it and maybe somebody would come check on it. So she was down in the basement, even though there was still people there. Still nobody, had any way of finding her. So that dread and then the hopelessness, just how, and all of his attempts when they're still, Jerry came to rescue, just following his gut and just keeps missing the chances to get his attention.
Yeah, he's just one bolt short of really just saving the day.
Yeah. And it ends up just being Jerry's gut feelings, that keep him there and, unfortunately ends up getting him killed. But yeah. So, all right. What about you?
I was upset with Ohm very early on. The way that he treated others like shit from his own self-hatred really made me like not want the guy to be successful. It would be one of those movies where the guy gets, John dies in the end.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm cool with that. But, it's the old adage, hurt people hurt people. And so when you start to ground a character like that in why they've got this emotion, why they're doing this, why are they lashing out, you're like, okay, I, as an audience member, need to open my mind up to not everything is great. Everybody's got their own baggage. And for me, it was such a great surprise.
Yeah.
That Ohm's character had that hard pass or that hard change up where it's like, okay, he's going to be a better person. He's going to live for more and he's going to change his outlook. You're like, okay, good for you, Ohm. Way to go. I hate that it took a lady dying that you were, semi close to one night before you killed yourself and she saved you. It was just really well done. Another thing that I had, I was really early on worried that we got trailer baited. Like I thought that all of the scares were done in a trailer. The ghost entity was just like, shit. Like we know what the main, what the bad guy looks like. Okay. We didn't get that. And I've never been more excited about it.
Yeah.
I love when a trailer just kind of keeps you guessing. And this one, if you watch the trailer and nothing else, you did not get any part of what this movie was.
No spoilers.
And then finally, I felt creeped out once shit started to pop off and the witch shows up. It did creepy very, very well. Yeah. That's really it for me on feeling. Okay. But that leads us into my what is slowly becoming my favorite segment, questions.
Okay.
Where we get to ask one or two or three or four weird questions that it made us question, or just things that maybe didn't really make sense, but we try to fix those now.
Okay. So you go first.
Yeah. Did he milk a dead goat to get the milk from the dead? I'm assuming it came from the dead goat that he was by.
No,
That he
I
put the
doubt
mushrooms
that.
in. I don't know, dude. Crazy Jerry in the van.
Because he made a comment like that was his favorite way. Like
do
so
mushrooms.
he made it
Yeah.
made you think that's how he normally did it.
Yeah, but it showed
So
the
he
dead
was just-
goat.
Yeah, but he was one with the forest and all of
Yeah,
you
he's a druid.
creatures.
It's fine.
Yeah, and so it was more like he just had the dead goat because he was gonna go bury it and like pay respects to it.
Yeah.
And so
I wish they wouldn't have put the dead goat there. I wish it would have just been like goat or like having goats around him to show like very early on that Jerry's a good guy. But
I think
this is
it played
nitpicky.
well. It played well into the creepiness because for a while you're like, maybe it was Jerry,
Okay.
instead of just be like, no, this little forest druid, he couldn't be a bad guy. He's just crazy forest Jerry,
He's just a silly little goofy guy.
just living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you? What questions did this invoke for you?
I didn't really have any.
Okay.
And that's what I kind of like, I don't like the open-ended as a lot. I don't want it to leave me with a lot of questions.
Okay.
Because usually the ones that leave me with a lot of questions, they don't, it's because they didn't make sense. I poked holes in it.
Okay.
And I didn't really poke any holes in this one.
Okay.
So,
well, I have another question.
okay.
When are we going to get more from this director?
Yeah.
When are we going to get just more good Irish folk
Mhm.
horror? Because good God, fucking slam dunk.
Yeah. That was what I was looking at earlier. So like Caveat was in 20.
Mm-hmm.
Oddity was either 24 or 25. And then now we have Hokum in 26. So he's kind of ramping up. His quality's getting even better.
Let's
so
see what happens next.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what, I guess, there we go. That's my question. What's next?
Do we get Hokum too? Now that the witch is out of the burned down hotel, do we get a prequel where the witch is being hunted?
That's the thing. Did the hotel burn all the way down? Because they were on their way, and
again though, like I'm assuming I like a movie where there's breach containment. I'm a Jurassic Park slut. So for me, give me that. Let the monsters get out in the wild and have to be hunted down. I'm cool with it. Let's see. Gripes? Kudos?
I didn't have any gripes.
I didn't either.
I guess kudos. I liked how, we already said this, but I liked how there were a lot of little Chekhov's guns, little things ended up making a big impact. And that's such a good theme about how, small things can end up being the biggest. And sometimes it's such a blatant, like, oh, that's going to be a big deal later because they'll focus on something. You're like, well, that's going to be the ending of the movie right there or something. That's going to save the day. Where it was things that were so just unexpected.
Yeah,
and
it was just little bitty thing. It was not like, oh, there's a fully there's an elephant gun that is going to be on the wall and they pull out.
And like the little clock, it was just such like an annoyance, and like that one did not think for a second that was going to play any kind of part. It was just
then it becomes
a spooky, and then it was a big deal, it was like his saving grace, at a point or two. So yeah, I really liked that, the dolls told the story, the clock carved figure or whatever it was, bronze figure, the little saw, the lighter. I mean, so many little things just ended up playing such a big part.
Yeah. I like it when we've got a mystery Mouseketool.
Yeah.
And it fucking works out.
Yep.
I'm just rapid fire again because I think if you made it this far, we're hyped on the movie.
Yeah.
It had great pacing.
Mm-hmm.
It had good scares.
Mm-hmm.
It had fun as fuck folklore.
Yep.
And it had great directing and a fun premise.
Mm-hmm.
Give me all those things. Continue to make good work. If your movie can do what this movie does, you are welcome in the horror space.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who is this movie for, and should you go watch it?
100% you should go watch it. Similar to like what we said in Good Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for people that aren't a fan of gore. It's not gore.
Yep.
It's not gory. It's got a great story, in my opinion. So if you really like the story more than just scares, go watch it.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
So, what about you?
I think it's for anybody who is willing to divest into a world that is dark, bleak,
Mm-hmm.
has got good bits of humor, but also, like, if you just want to hate somebody very early on, this is the movie for you. If you're going through a bad breakup and you want to watch a man slowly delve into insanity and then wind up coming through it, the hero's journey, and then punish evildoers who do evil things, this is that movie. Like, I got nothing else on that. Go watch it. It's worth the watch.
Yep.
All right. That's our take on Hokum. We'd love to hear from you down in the comments. What's your thoughts on it? And if we missed anything, please let us know.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, and share for more horrifying content. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay spooky.